This is not a surprise. There's been a lot of talk in the marketplace about possible strategic restructuring, sales and things. What do we know about what's going on at Twitter?
We don't know all of the details yet, but what's being reported right now, as Alex mentioned, is that there's been early expressions of interest from several technology companies, including Google and including Salesforce. What CNBC is saying at this point is that a sale is not imminent, but that we might see something by year end. And obviously, a lot of things can change over the next couple of months. And as you mentioned, Twitter is no stranger to takeover speculation. We did a study earlier this month that found Twitter has jumped more than 4.8%. 1 out of every 6 trading days so far this year. I mean, that is a crazy amount of takeover speculation, especially for a company Twitter's size.
So Twitter was a darling, grew up and had enormous growth over a period of time, and then that growth started to flatten out some and became a little less favorite. So at this point, what does a tech company see in Twitter? Put yourself in their shoes. What are they looking for?
There's still a very significant user base, even if that user base isn't growing as much as it once was. There's still a huge base of people that use this for, daily things, whether that's journalists or whether that's people looking for news on certain events, and that has value to tech companies. Those are valuable eyeballs. And, maybe in the hands of somebody who has a little bit more experience dealing with advertisers, you might be able to make this a little bit more profitable, get more out of those eyeballs.
Earlier today, though, it was interesting. The stock was down. Mark Mahaney over at RBC downgraded the stock. Sees 25% downside because advertisers are not getting the bang for their buck. They're seeing less return on those ad dollars. That's a huge issue, especially when competitors like Google and Facebook are lapping up the ad revenue.
It certainly is, and I think that raises the question: could somebody be executing the advertising strategy better?
Right.
Could somebody like Facebook, which gets lots of money from advertising, or somebody like Google, somebody with more experience in this area, be doing a better job of figuring out how to make these advertisers happy?
Yeah, and in that respect, it echoes a little bit the Yahoo deal with AOL, because AOL has a lot of ad tech and they're really good at that. And Yahoo still has a lot of eyeballs. Now, obviously, Twitter is newer in the tooth. It's not as long in the tooth as Yahoo is. But is this something that Salesforce could afford to buy, do you know? Because Google certainly has the money. They've got the cash.
Sure. Salesforce was looking at LinkedIn, so we know they've thought about doing big deals in the past. Twitter is not cheap. When we were looking at it earlier this month, it is still very expensive, even after the stock has fallen so far this year. I haven't updated the numbers yet, but earlier this month, when we ran the data looking at the premium that Microsoft paid for LinkedIn, Twitter would be crazy expensive at about $19 billion and a very high EBITDA valuation relative to other deals in the industry. So this isn't going to be a cheap deal, but you never know. Tech companies are willing to do big, expensive deals all the time, so we'll see.
And Salesforce has been very acquisitive. They haven't been very shy in buying things, that's for sure. So when do you expect to hear something on this? If there's something here, how long will it take? Yeah, the best rumor.
I think we'll have to wait and sort of see what comes out of this. It seems like it's very early stage at this point based on the details that are currently being reported out there. And so we'll sort of have to see what happens. The other question is, does Twitter want to sell? It's not exactly trading at peak valuation right now. Is this sort of an admission of defeat if you sell when your stock is trading at these levels? And what sort of valuation is going to make the founders happy?
And that's always the question, what's the price?
Exactly.
Everybody's willing to sell at the right price.
At the right
question
price,
is whether
but
they
it
can
has
get
to be high enough.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly right.